Hey, SKOL Vikings fans. What's up, Purple Nation? Can you believe we're already diving into Week 2 with our boys sitting at 1-0 after that epic Monday night thriller in Chicago? I'm your die-hard Vikings enthusiast here on Vikings News, buzzing with excitement because tonight, under the lights at US Bank Stadium, we're chasing that 2-0 dream against the Atlanta Falcons. But hold up, who saw McCarthy pulling off a comeback for the ages last week? Yeah, that NFC Offensive Player of the Week award? This got me fired up. But the Falcons and their lefty gunslinger Michael Penix Jr. are coming to crash the party. Stick around as we break this down. Will our pass rush finally cash in those pressures? Or is Penix about to carve us up? Let's dive in and talk Vikings news like true fans. Our Vikings are rolling into primetime with momentum, but let's not kid ourselves. This Falcon squad is no pushover after dropping a heartbreaker to the Bucs last week. Penix Jr. lit it up with 298 yards, a touchdown, and no picks in his start, showing that big arm we all feared. What do you think, fans? Can our defense, led by that revamped pass rush, keep the pressure on like they did to Caleb Williams? I'm talking Jonathan Greenid and Javon Hargrave each racking up 7 pressures per PFF. That's the kind of dominance that had Williams scrambling on 45.5% of his dropbacks. But here's the teaser, we only sacked him twice late. Tonight, against a less mobile Penix, it's sack city or bust. As we gear up for kickoff, picture this. 73,000 roaring fans drowning out the Falcons' signals. McCarthy, fresh off fatherhood duties. Congrats, JJ, is set for his home debut. Last week, he shook off a slow start with 56 yards and that pick six through 3 quarters, only to erupt for 2 passing TDs and a rushing dagger in the 4th. That's Vikings resilience, baby. But Penix? He's taken just 5 sacks in his career starts, zipping the ball quick with weapons like Drake London and Darnell Mooney testing Byron Murphy Jr. and Isaiah Rodgers. What's your prediction? Does McCarthy build on that heroics, or do injuries throw a wrench? Let's unpack the big questions keeping us on the edge. First up in our Vikings news deep dive, that pass rush we keep hyping. On paper, it's a beast with Greenid, Andrew Van Ginkel, wait, scratch that, he's out with a concussion. Plus newcomers Hargrave and Jonathan Allen bringing the heat. Week 1 was promising. Greenid and Hargrave with 7 pressures each, Allen adding 6, forcing Williams into duress on 20 of 44 dropbacks. But man, Caleb juked him like a ghost. No sacks until Hargrave finally grounded him in the 4th, and another push-out later. Fans, how frustrating was that? We need those finishes tonight. Penix isn't Williams in the escape artist department. He's got just 21 rushing yards from last week, totaling 34 in 4 career starts. But don't sleep on his pocket presence. He avoids sacks like a pro, only 5 in those games, and with his cannon arm, he can hit any throw. Imagine him airing it to London or Mooney if our linebackers are thin without Van Ginkel and Blake Cashman sidelined by hamstring woes. That's where Dallas Turner steps up. Excited for that rookie fire? Our pass rush has to get home early, or Penix turns US Bank into his playground. What pressures do you want to see most, Purple fam? Without Van Ginkel, it's all about depth and execution for the Vikings defense. The Falcons' run game with Bijan Robinson could exploit gaps, especially if coverage suffers against Kyle Pitts. But hey, our front four's talent is real. Hargrave and Allen disrupted big last week. If we convert those pressures to takedowns, Penix stays bottled up and we control the game. Vikings news alert. This unit's primed for a breakout. Tell me in the comments, can we hit Penix 5 times? Let's keep the suspense building as we shift to our quarterback sensation. Now onto McCarthy. What an encore we're craving after that Week 1 magic. The kid won NFC Offensive Player of the Week in his debut, rallying from a pick-6 nightmare to 3 total TDs in a 27-24 road win over the Bears. Through 3 quarters, just 56 passing yards, but then boom, 2 fourth-quarter bombs and a rushing seal on the deal. Mentally tough, physically electric. That's our JJ. With no nerves left from primetime jitters, he's home now, where the crowd's roar will amp the offense. Fans, wasn't that comeback pure Vikings heart? McCarthy's got the stage tonight. Primetime at home, fresh off becoming a dad Thursday. Talk about life wins stacking up. The Falcons D ranked 29th in DVOA last year and still looks middling. So expect us to pound the run early with Aaron Jones. Then unleash play-action magic. JJ's targets? Justin Jefferson feasting, TJ Hawkinson hooking up, Jalen Naylor stretching the field, Adam Thielen reliable as ever. What play do you want JJ to hit first? A deep ball to JJ or a bootleg to Hawk? This could be his statement game. Building on that debut, McCarthy's poise under pressure is key. Last week, he showed grit. Now, with better crowd noise aiding snaps, the offense flows smoother. The Falcons have pieces like their front seven, but they're beatable, especially if we establish the ground game. Vikings news scoop. JJ's ready to sling it. Imagine him dropping dimes all night. Does he top 300 yards? Keep watching because injuries could test this momentum next. Speaking of tests, let's talk those nagging injuries hitting us early. Vikings news wouldn't be complete without the gritty details. We're without starters like Christian Darrisaw, knee out, Van Ginkel, concussion, out, and Jeff Okudah, concussion, out. Harrison Smith, illness, is questionable, and Blake Cashman, hamstring, now on IR, leaves gaps at linebacker. Jordan Addison, no suspension drama, just a minor knee tweak, but he's full practice and good to go. That's depth getting challenged week 2. Backup left tackle Justin SKOL steps in for Darrisaw, shaky last week with 4 pressures and 2 sacks allowed. So eyes on him protecting JJ's blindside. Eric Wilson mans linebacker for Cashman, while Dallas Turner rotates in for Van Ginkel. Huge opportunity for the rookie. If Smith sits, Jay Ward sees more snaps. Dwight McClathern or Fabian Moreau covers Okudah's slot. Fans, how do we feel about this lineup? Can the backups rise like last week's rally? These replacements have to hold firm against Penix's precision and the Falcons' weapons. London and Mooney could torch if coverage slips, and Pitts in the seams? Deadly without Cashman. But our depth's been battle-tested. SKOL better lock in, Turner bring edge heat. Vikings news update. No major surprises, but it's all hands on deck. What if these guys shine? Suspense is killing me. Does this fuel a gritty win? Wrapping up the pass rush saga. With Turner in, expect fresh legs chasing Penix. Last week's pressures were gold, but sacks were MIA until late. Hargraves too were clutch. Against a pocket guy like Penix, 93.2 rating last week, 1 TD. We can't let him sit back. Greenwood needs that strip sack moment. Purple Nation, envision the stadium erupting on a big hit. What's your bold prediction for pressures? McCarthy's encore builds on fatherly focus, new dad energy? Unstoppable. With the run game clicking early, play action opens the sky for Jefferson's routes. Falcons secondary is vulnerable. JJ's arm matches Penix's. Last week's 3 TDs? Just the start. Fans, comment below. Over or under 2.5 TDs for JJ tonight. Injuries test our resolve, but that's Vikings DNA. Adapt and overcome. SKOL versus Atlanta's edge? Ward in the back end? We've got pieces like Moreau ready. No Addison suspension means full firepower offensively. Vikings news hot take. This adversity sparks a 2-0 start. Who's with me? As the clock ticks to kickoff, remember Penix's week 1. 298 yards. No turnovers, but that loss stings for Atlanta. Our D must swarm. 45.5% duress on Williams shows potential. Without Van Ginkel, it's Turner time. Can we force 2 picks? The stakes in the NFC North are high. Packers watching. JJ's home primetime? Electric. 73,000 strong. Noise cranked. Offense hums. Targets galore. Hawkinson post-suspension vibes. Wait. No, he's healthy. Jones pounding. Falcons DVOA weak spot? Exploit it. What formation do you love most for play action? Depth chart drama. Darrisaw out hurts, but SKOL rebounds? Cashman IR sucks, Wilson steps up. Smith questionable, Ward ready? Okudah sidelined. McClathern shines? This is where champions forge. Vikings news. Resilience wins games. Teasing the outcome. Pass rush homes in JJ Dazzle's backups battle 2-0 locked? Or Penix upsets? NFC North pace with Packers? I'm all in on purple victory. SKOL fans, that's your Vikings news preview. If we nail the rush, J.J. Cooks, and depth holds, it's lights out for Atlanta. What question worries you most? Drop opinions below. All right, Purple Warriors, smash that like button if you're hyped for 2-0. Comment your score prediction. Subscribe for more Vikings news breakdowns, and share with fellow fans. Let's pack US Bank, SKOL Vikings.